We are up and going. It is only 38 days left until competition. It's getting close, almost just 1 month. And the plan for today is to start actually seriously train for comp. The last week has been deload, which has been useful. I really needed that, but the training intensity has been pretty low. But first, today is the first day back with some serious training. So we're gonna increase the sets back to 3 sets on each exercise. We're gonna have the reps pretty high as well, 10 reps for most of the things, depending on the exercise. And it is push session today. One thing I want to mention that I think a lot of people can relate to, and that is extremely useful, and that is when it comes to how good training sessions are. Because I had just the other day one of the worst training sessions I ever had. It was a freestyle session, but at that point I also know that the next session I'm training is gonna be most likely one of my best. And this is the dilemma, because when I'm having an extremely bad session, or maybe not dilemma is not the word for it, but the scenario. So when I'm having an extremely bad session, that means my body is getting to some degree some rest. So the day after I will be fully rested, and this training session that went really bad is almost like a deload day, and therefore the next session becomes just really good. And I try to have that in mind, because it's easy to feel really bad about yourself when you have shitty sessions. And then just remember that, all right, if I push through this one, the next one is gonna be really amazing. And that has been the case for me for the last like 5 years. Every time I have a bad session, the next session is absolute destruction. So that sort of becomes a motivating factor, or at least it doesn't make me go crazy, because we have some bad sessions from time to time. It's part of the game. Another thing is when it comes to motivation and discipline, I get this question asked a lot about staying motivated, staying disciplined. And you're gonna hear from all the high level athletes, they're gonna say, oh, we don't have motivation, we only have discipline, and almost have the stone face. And that to some degree is the case, but of course we have a reason for doing what we're doing. It would be mental if I just go to a gym every single day without really knowing why I'm even there. So I have a purpose, and I think that's the key thing here. It's not just that I'm disciplined, I think that comes with time, but I have a true purpose to why I'm there, and that I have to know for myself. So for me, I go to gym because I have some competitions planned, and I want to be on top, perform my best during competition. So I have a clear purpose, like I need to go to the gym because I want to perform as best as I can when this day comes. And that's in 38 days. And at the same time, I also have vlogs to film. It became a new routine in my life. So I'm going to the gym because I also know, all right, people are expecting me to show up. People are expecting me to do something. So I have to be there. That's one case why I'm there. Then the competition part really is, all right, when I'm actually in the gym, I'm giving it my all, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get results from giving it my all. That's gonna be shown in competition. And then the other thing, of course, gonna be skill training. I can't just go to the gym knowing, you know, just for training. I gotta know, all right, what's the goal with these things? Why am I doing this specific exercise? And that's when it comes to skill training, or which skills do I want to learn? What's the end goal? And that's really clear for me. Like, I know which skills I'm training for. I know which skills I want to improve my strength for, time in holds or reps or whatever it may be. So I had these strict lines, and that creates my purpose for showing up. So yes, it's discipline to some degree. That's during the days where I just feel like laying in the bed and doing nothing. But most of the time, I have a strong enough purpose to go to the gym and showing up. And at that point, that motivation is always going to be up and down, you know. It comes and goes. If you have a good session, you get motivated for the next one. If you have a bad session, you lose your motivation. And motivation in general goes like this. But the key point is whether your training is going up or down, or staying the same. That can also be the case. Sometimes that's useful. If you're having, you know, life is going to be really harsh from time to time. I personally have problems with school that is unpredictable. Sometimes I have extremely much to do. And in those cases, I just have to put some things on pause. Sometimes, for example, now with Instagram, social media, I've had too much other things, so I can't really like shine in that sector, but I try to just maintain, and that is fine for a while. Like I'm doing enough to maintain my follower base, I'm doing enough to maintain my content and everything, and because I love doing content, so I need that as well. But that is maintaining, and that's fine for some periods. The same is going to be for training. If you don't have time, like life happens to all of us, if you don't have time for it, just make sure you maintain. So you do something to keep the body activated, and then you're not going to lose progress. And I think that's the case. And then we have this way of measuring progress. I just mentioned, like, sometimes you have your worst sessions and then you will have your best sessions. But the thing that really matters is the average. Because we can't really say like, oh, this was the worst session ever. This is worse than 2 years ago. Like, yeah, of course, because it's the worst. Like, sometimes we have these shitty sessions, but we can't really judge our performance or our growth based on that. And the same is with our best sessions. We can't really say like, oh, this session was so good, I had everything, I did my flips. We can't really say that that's our stage either, because that is also a rare occasion. Most of the time it's gonna be the average between those, and that's where I like to look at my progressions. All right, so on the average days, how good is my performance? And then I look back, all right, 1 year ago on my average day, this is what it was and this is what it's now, and it's a huge difference. Competition is also a good way to measure if I'm doing harder skills, longer combos, longer holds, or in general better performance competitions, because at that point I know that I'm giving my absolute all. So if I compare a competition to another one, I know that, all right, at that point I'm giving it my all. So the difference between those competitions is going to be, okay, what's actually my difference in level? So that's also another way to measure progress. Another thing was about the community post that I posted just a few days ago, and you guys showed a lot of appreciation. So to be honest, I think this is gonna be a thing. So now it's not really about if you're interested. Now it's more about, all right, sign up on the wait list and I will show that you're interested, and I will get a knowledge of how many people it's regarding, and that would be in the description as well. So check that one out, and let's see if we can make this thing happen, because it can become something huge. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the community, check out my last post or my last video. I have a full one explaining it, but I think it could be sick. It's gonna be way more engaging. Like, I love talking like this, but at the same time I want to know what you guys want. I want to help you as much as possible as well, and I think community is the way to go. But no more talking, let's go upstairs and hit the push session. This is gonna be pretty hardcore. First day of the deload and I'm feeling hyped. Forget about what I said in the car by doing 10 reps. I don't know why I said that. I think I was thinking about before competition preparations in the rings. Doing 10 reps, that's not gonna be the case now, because I want to simulate competition, and that is more towards getting used to lower reps but higher intensity. So the thing I'm gonna do is use a resistance band that is lighter than what I trained with before. So during deload I did have the 10 to 30 kg resistance band. This one is 5 to 15 kg, so it's gonna help me way less. And that's gonna be the foundation. I'm still gonna do the same exercises, but they are gonna be a bit harder and simulating competition. That's like the key goal of this whole thing. Whereas me doing 10 reps before and stuff, that's more of gaining strength and some mass as well, since we are up towards the higher reps. Whereas this is more my body getting used to this. But I wouldn't train this usually, because it's high chance of injury, because you're extremely high up with the intensity. And low reps as well, so I'm not gonna be in the position for as long. But now I'm just simulating competition, so it's not a shock when I enter the stage. First up, planche push-up to a planche hold, and it's gonna be 2 seconds here as well. So same stats as before. And the goal is gonna be to do about 4. Last time I did 5 reps, but that was with a thicker band. So now it's gonna be 4 and still have the good form. Trust me, this is not helping a lot. So it's gonna be really, really heavy sets. That's why we have had the deload, so I'm ready for it. First 2 reps, really good. The last 2, a bit harder, but every time. The first set of the day, never expecting something extraordinary. I did warm up the shoulders and stuff a bit more to get some blood flow, but even if I did that, this first set is harsh. At 4, I think it's gonna be a good number. This was 3 that I would count. 4th one was push-up, but not a hold, so really close. But let's do 2 more sets, because we're out of the deload. Right, set number 2. Put it to the side so we can see the form as well, since this is heavier, and I know my weakness is the hips. So watch out for them leaning downwards. If they are, you can be mad at me, because that should not be the case. And it's gonna be my number 1 priority for this one. It's gonna be to really get the legs up so they're not pointing downwards, since that's where I usually slack. Ooh. Holy fuck, it's heavy. Oh. Now when I realize I can't do 4 with a hold, sort of scream. But this is still really good for me. Because, like I said, this help almost nothing. Almost more mental than what it's actually helping. So just me knowing there's a resistance band, like, oh, I can't be shitty form or can't be bad because I'm having help. But truth is that it's not helping too much. But still, this final set, I gotta make it 4. I'm gonna give it my all. Even if the form is a bit shit, I'm gonna fucking hold it. Oh, let's get it. Told you I was gonna give it my all. Well, yeah, this is obviously extremely heavy. Maybe by the end of, if I give this two more sessions with it, training this, might be able to get 4 pretty consistent. Also, I've trained another type of training, you know, with a bit more reps for a while now, so of course my body isn't really used to this type. But it's really good. If I can perform this, like at least 1 straight bar full planche push-up is gonna be really doable for competition. And that's really what I want from this specific exercise. Full planche push-up to hold on straight bar, and then into freestyle or some sort of dynamic. But now, let's move on. It is time. Full planche press to straddle 1 arm, handstand. Last time I did 2 sets. First set was pretty damn bad. Not even close to be counted as a full planche press. Second set was decent. And today I feel even better, so I'm hoping for some solid press. Then the 1 arm, I'm not too concerned about, of course. Sometimes you enter it the wrong way and it can fail, but the main focus is to be able to press and then get good control into 1 arm. But the press is, of course, going to be the hardest one. Or maybe not, of course. Some people might be really strong in planche and don't have balance with the 1 arm. Maybe it's just preference. But I think press is the hardest one, or at least for me. Stone face, let's get it. Oh yeah, that's how we do it. Holy shit. Good start. Of course, it's not gonna be the perfect planche press. It's still my worst skill, or the one I had the hardest time performing. But if this is the start, it can just get better. Let's move on. 2 more sets. Set number 2. One thing I forgot to mention though, before I do this one, is the time I rest. Now, since the exercise I'm doing, it's extremely high intensity, low in reps. This takes a lot on the body. And since the reps are so few, I want to make sure that I can perform each set, if that makes sense. And therefore I take a bit longer rest in between the sets. So it's now roughly 3 to 4 minutes. Before it was more towards 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the exercise. But these ones I need to rest a bit more. So I make sure I have full potential, because there's no idea for me to just go it and fail, because it's only 1 rep in what I'm doing. And if that's a fail, then the whole set is ruined. I think that makes sense. But now let's get another press. I put the camera there so we can see my form. I'm really gonna try to get my hips down. I know I'm pointing my ass a bit upwards. And that's my goal for this set. Think about it. Now the 1 arm was a bit more struggle. Gonna rest 2 seconds, see if I can get that 1 arm too. Sloppy. The reason I'm doing this is because I know it's sort of a weakness. After doing something on planche, you use a lot of shoulder strength. Of course, the body gets tired, and core strength. And the 1 arm is basically the same muscles. In the 1 arm, if I don't get my shoulder up towards my ear, like this, I can't hold it here. So I have to be here, but this requires strength. And that I think is the strength part in one arm handstand. The other things is more towards balance. But this part you need to have the strength, otherwise you can't really get into it. That's why you will see me go up here, then push up, and now I'm in the right position. But if I fall, I bent my arm a bit, I come down, I lose that connection, I have to find it again. That's really the hardest part in one arm. Set number 3. Let's see if we can make it really solid. I know one thing, I try to stress the one arm a bit in last set, because in competition, of course, you want to enter the next move pretty fast, time limited, the rounds. But now during training, I feel like it's more important to actually get the skill hold. So I'm gonna take my time if I need it. I'm obviously talking about the one arm handstand now, since that was the problem in last set. So when I'm in it, I'm gonna really try to find my balance and not stress it. Even if in competition, I would like to have it pretty rapidly after each other. Yeah, that's way better. Sometimes when you stress things, it's not necessarily the case that you can't hold it. It's that you start to become sloppy on things. Even if it's not like I'm resting when I'm taking it slow. It's just that when I'm taking it slow, I'm making sure that, okay, I feel the connection in the hips. Okay, I feel the connection in the shoulder. My arm is up here, even if nothing else changes. So that's the case with not stressing, just having time to feel the connection. And the one arm handstand as well. When I started, I thought a lot about, oh, I'm just gonna raise up my arm like this. But that's gonna make me fall to this side if I'm going on my left arm, which is the one I usually do one arm on. This one I do with just one arm flag. So I have one for each. But the case is when I'm raising my arm like this, I'm falling that way. So when I enter the handstand, I wanna make sure that the power in my arm, I'm pointing that one in the direction that my leg is pointing. And that's the connection I want to have. So my arm isn't really pointing upwards. It's more like I want to protract my shoulder and point downwards in this direction. If I do so, that's where I will have the connection. Therefore, if you see people that does with the arm up here, if they can hold it, they are extremely controlled or have insane strength. Because this arm, the whole purpose is to balance, have counterweight for the legs up here as well. So if I'm putting my arm here, the weight is coming here, the legs are gonna be heavier, and I'm falling. So that's what I really try to think about. As soon as I let go, I point my arm. But this was the final one, and I think it's time for Maltese. Straight bar Maltese with the thinner resistance band. This is gonna be interesting. It is time. Full Maltese, pronated grip, and it's gonna be pretty damn heavy. It was heavy last session, and at that time I did have the thicker band. So now it's really gonna be a challenge, which is good, because if I can do it with this band, I'm at least pretty damn close to doing it without it. That is gonna be the end goal. So for this exercise, it's gonna be full Maltese hold. I'm gonna max it out roughly for this one, since I'm either way in the shorter amount of seconds. Might be able to hold it for 4 or 5 realistically. So that's gonna just max it out really, aiming for 4 and 5 seconds though. And then after that, go up, do a supinated planche, full planche, just as a combo. And that one is more gonna be to market, maybe hold 2-3 seconds, and then I'm done. That's one set. Let's see if I have the Maltese in me. Here I really need to activate core if I don't want to put everything on the shoulders. Heavy duty, but it felt better than I expected, even if it's not an insane amount of seconds that I held it. Roughly 4, 5, I don't know, we can argue. I'm gonna check it out, see if the form was decent as well, but good start. I'm also gonna measure roughly how much this is helping so we can get an estimate. I'm gonna do this for the next set. Set number 2. I counted the first set and of course just took the time and checked it, but roughly 4 seconds. And that's solid. If I get minimum 4 seconds, that is pretty good. I almost forgot. We're gonna measure how much help this is actually giving. So I'm gonna take a 10 kg weight to start with, if that is good enough, and just put it in here and see how far down it gets. All right, 10 kg. And now I don't wanna hold it, I just wanna balance it. Okay, so now I'm just balancing, barely pushing or pulling. So 10 kg help is gonna be down here. I'm not down here. I'm more maybe here, and then it's extended a bit more. Maybe it is. roughly 10 to 8 kg. Since it's around my hips, it's gonna be extended a bit more than this. So let's say 10 kg help. That is not a lot. That means if I were to weigh 78 kg and I reduce the weight in the middle of my body by 10 kg, I'll be able to do this. I don't know, maybe I have a little fat to reduce, but not too much. I'd rather focus on building strength so I can do it with my current weight. Big moves, and you definitely feel that you did one set before. Even if I took good rest, it's heavy. I think the form, I passed the form check, and also the planche afterwards. It's almost better than when I did it with a heavier band, or maybe that's just in my brain. I haven't checked the form yet, so I can't really tell. But in general, I feel strong. Let's get this last set. From this angle, it's gonna look like an airplane. I saw Daniel License do Maltese. It was many years ago. And ever since, that has probably been one of the sickest skills in my opinion. Like the one that looks the coolest. Because from the front, you're activating literally muscles that don't even exist. And I don't know, it just looks a bit unbelievable in my opinion. So therefore I put the camera there. So you also can get maybe motivated to train it. Because it's one hell of a journey. It's rough. And it's an incredibly hard skill to do, but at the same time it looks so damn sick, so I really want to have it. Let's go. I'm glad we're done with this one. This was pretty much the last thing I could give. Feel like I'm getting tired. But we have one more exercise left, and that is planche press. I'm gonna attempt it first with this resistance band as well. See if we can get at least 4 reps. If I can't do that, might take the other band, but this is gonna be the goal. So I'm gonna rest 4 minutes and then head over to planche press. Let's get full planche press. Starting with this light band and just see if I'm capable of doing 4 reps. That is gonna be the target. And it's gonna be the press and the negative as well. See if I can come down to the full planche hold. Just mark it extremely quick and then press back up. So I'm doing the both press and the negative part, which is good. Because in competition, you know, I would most likely either be in a handstand, come down to a planche, so I wanna have that control, or I'm in a planche, I wanna get up into a handstand. So I have these 2 scenarios that I want to be strong in both sides. That's why I train it. Oh, that is incredibly heavy. I know the band is helping a bit more than 10 kg, probably about 10, since I'm wrapping it around a bit more, extending it. And that's just though in the lower position. Then when I'm more towards the top, I mean up here it's nothing. Well, 3 of them were pretty good. I think I'm gonna continue to do 3 of them. And then for the last one, I'm gonna drop down, not do the negative one, get 2 seconds of breathing, and then do 1 more press. Give it my all. That's gonna be the way to go. Because I do wanna stick with this band now, because it definitely simulates competition more. If I'm training with a too thick band, doing just 4 or 5 reps, not gonna give me as much, since the gap from that band to nothing is pretty huge. For me to take away the band now, or previously you saw that I can do 1 press, so it's more about me getting comfortable, getting a few reps in, so I'm used to it for competition. Set number 2. Let's see if we can make this one a bit better. Okay. I only showed you, by the way, this was way better. But I only showed you the handstand way of getting out. But of course, you can just enter or get out the same way you entered it. Like that. So, not too scary. Scariest part with always with using bands, if they are tied up to you, if you're going close to failure and you're extremely weak, that's when it's scary. Because then the band is gonna hold you if you're falling from one side to another. Mainly just in handstand do. If I'm doing planche or front lever, it's not that dangerous at all. But this was better. Let's do the final set just like this one. Last set of the day, and then we are done. Ah! Fuck. Ah! At least I got the final one. Holy crap. I can clearly say that there's a huge difference between training extremely high intensity with low help, so I'm down with the sets, almost body weight. It takes a lot because it's like I have to give 100%. If I don't, I'm gonna fail the reps. That's really bad. Whereas if I train more reps, like I did a few weeks ago, I have more margin for error. So if I feel a bit weak and I lose 1 rep, that's not that bad. I'm still doing 8 or 9 reps if the aim was 10. But now if I lose like 1 or 2 reps, that's like 50% of the full set. So it's not good. And like I said, I wouldn't train this unless it was competition. Since it's really harsh on the body as well, I need more resting and way easier to overtrain as well to kill your body. And injuries are also easy to get if I'm training like this. So therefore I wouldn't do it unless it's competition. But yeah, solid workout either way. Let's wrap it up with some flexing. Oof. To be honest, the way I know that I'm tired after something, that's when I start to talk and then it's zero value in what I'm saying. Like after last set, when I just start to talk about literally nothing, I know my brain is not braining. And to some degree that means it's been a pretty good workout. I've exhausted myself. Let's see if we got some pump. In general now it's pretty light outside. I'm here a bit earlier than usual. So then it's not as good lighting for flexing. When it comes to flexing, it's better to have just light from the above, then you will see more muscular context, if that makes sense. Whereas this light is really good for filming anywhere, because I have the right light, or light everywhere, so I can just change the exposure on the camera. Whereas if I have no light anywhere, I just have to put the exposure really, really low, or high, I don't know. So that it becomes, I think it's exposure low. And this is like a trick question. If I want to have it bright, do I put the exposure low or high? Because the exposure, fuck it, now I'm starting to talk about nothing again. Let's do some flexing, and then I can shut up. Double bicep. Solid. So, the double arm. I'm gonna try. I know everyone is doing vacuum, but I think that requires some training as well. I'm gonna give it a shot. It's just so weird. I don't know, people get these abs as well, sucked in. That's some talent. I'm gonna stick with the casual one, so I don't do something stupid. Oh my god. Were I out of frame the whole time or out of focus? Let's do it again. Yes, I think we saved it. One arm up. Whoop. Decent. Let's try lat spread. This is like I'm really bad at this, but we will give it a shot. I did get the advice to put my arms as high up as possible. feels a bit unsymmetrical as well, but it might be that I'm just flexing it different. That was about it. And one thing I haven't mentioned, I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna start from today, and that is to add a little bit of cardio. That is really not my thing, but since it's competition, it's gonna be good for me to get some cardio. Because these holds and everything I do, it's a really short time interval that I'm training, whereas in competition, if it's rounds, it can be roughly 45 seconds to 1 minute rounds. So I want to be able to perform during that whole period, and therefore my heart also needs to get a bit more comfortable. Therefore I'm going to add cardio 2 times per week. One time is going to be during my rest day, and when I say cardio, it's not that hardcore. It's just going to be either power walking, cycling, or a bicycle in the gym, or I think it's those two. I might do running as well a bit further in, and then just switch around a bit around these two. But it's not going to be super hardcore, me just sweating all over. Just get a bit more comfortable with the increased heart rate. But I think this sums it up. And like always, make sure to subscribe. I never mentioned it, but like as well. These algorithms, they like when you like. So I think it's a good idea. And it also makes sure, or it shows me that I know that you guys appreciate it. So do it because you like the video, not just because I tell you. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao, ciao!